Me, man.
Not so much. Okay, so this is a real life issue, so I really need your perspective.
Flow.
Basically, I met this guy. He seems to be very intentional,
Mhm.
wants to get into a relationship. He does all the things, but he leads a lot with money. Like he leads with money. He doesn't like to plan. He doesn't like to, he wants me to plan, he'll pay for it. But
Mm.
the issue that I'm having is basic things, like for example, talking about love languages, like what is your love language? How do you like to be loved? How do you love and stuff like that? I will have to explain to him from scratch, like, what is a love language? What does that mean?
Mm.
He doesn't want to do his own research. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Mm.
Even talking about attachment styles, like, what is your attachment style? Because these are things you need to know.
Yeah.
How do you handle conflict resolution? He's
Mm.
telling me, oh, can you tell me first? Can you explain what you mean? Every single time. But then on the other side, he is intentional in terms of if I find something and I'm like, oh, I really want to go to this theater, or I really want to go watch. Oh, sorry, I was getting a call. He will now be super intentional and he'll pay for it.
Mm.
This guy keeps on calling me right now. Sorry.
He knows his
Um,
innovation. Go on.
he will pay for it. He'll be like, okay, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What shoes do you want? What bag? But it's like the deep things. He'll have a conversation, but he wants me to explain everything to him. And for me, it's becoming draining. And I've explained it to him that I understand you want to hear my perspective or how I like things or whatever the case, but I need you to have a foundation of these things. Do you know what I mean? Because we can't have every conversation leading with me explaining what this means first.
Agreed.
Every day, all the time. Do you get what I mean? So I don't know if I'm bugging, but
I
I'm
don't think,
feeling a bit drained.
I don't think you're bugging. I think first and foremost, there's a couple of things here which it can be taken in any direction, right? So here's the first thing, right? You have an expectation of him that you want him to be more emotionally adept and more emotionally attuned and somebody who understands the emotional things. He doesn't.
Hmm.
That's the first thing. He doesn't, right? So you begun the relationship on a concession because for some reason you've conceded that ground. And you guys are dating, right?
No, no, no. We're seeing each other.
Okay, cool, fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
we're
even
still
better.
talking. Yeah.
So okay, that's even better. So now, actually, I'm gonna flip it around. Then forget about him. It's about you. This person does not fit what you want. Why are you fitting him into a shoe that he cannot fit?
Do you know, this is actually a conversation that I was having with myself because I was like, maybe I'm having expectations that he can't meet. And when I said to him, the whole point of us talking is to get to know each other, to see if we're compatible. But he is kind of that person who's like, no, but I want this to work. Like I don't want to lose a person like you. I want it to work. I've not met somebody like you before. So whatever you need, tell me and I will change it. And I'm like, I don't feel like you should change for a person. If you're to change, it should be for yourself to be a better version of you. But at the same time, obviously, if you're in a relationship, you want it to work, you have to adjust. But I don't feel like this is adjusting. I feel like this is changing a person. Do you get what I mean?
I do. And change is not a bad thing, right? So as long as that person is, they want to change for them. They see that they want to be better, not just for you, but for themselves. They recognize that there's a higher level they can get to in order to be a better person and a better partner. I can understand that, right? But they have to have their own. They have to have their own motivation to want to do this. Otherwise, it'll be short lived, where they're just trying to get you, so they'll do what needs to be done to get you, right?
This is the
That
thing.
that aspect, right, is where you don't want to be. And I'm sure you're aware of that. Now, the key thing here, though, is actually not about him.
Mm-hmm.
The key thing here is actually about you
Mm-hmm.
because he may be an issue, but the key thing is you're seeing the issues. Why is it that this person is who we are even entertaining as time goes on? He actually doesn't meet the criteria. Financially, he might do.
Oh, that hit. I can't lie.
So the real question is, why are you willing to sabotage your life and play a mother role in a relationship to a man rather than the man being a leader in this situation? Because you're going to end up being a leader because you're going to have to emotionally train him up. Okay, all right. Why are we willing to be a mother to that man in that space? What's going on with you that you are being a mother?
Oh, okay. This is the thing, right? I've been single for like a year and a bit, and I've been working on me. But you see, this guy, how he talks to me,
Hmm.
how he treats me, how he looks for me, how he, even the things that he leads with, he doesn't lead with fakeness. What he says, he does it. Do you understand? I'll give you an example. The first date we went on, um, I think it was like maybe an hour from my house, and we used the train. This guy got on a train back with me to my station an hour away because he was like, this is my normal. This is how I treat, and that's how he has been ever since.
I love that.
So it's not a situation of he's leading with words. There's people that will tell you, oh, I'll give you the word, blah, blah, blah. No, he's actually doing it.
Mm.
And he's intentional. Like I'll say he's sincere and genuine. He's not perfect, nobody is. But to find a person who actually says what, like does what they say, is not easy. Even driving, he's driven me like 3 hours away, not because I didn't want to drive myself or I didn't want to whatever, but that's how he shows love. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's acts of service.
It's acts of service, and it's, if I say this, I do it. If I say this, I'm doing it, and he does it. So I just feel like that's hard to find. Do
So
you know what I
okay,
mean?
okay. So acts of, what is your love language?
My love language is acts of how I give love or how I receive.
How you receive it?
How I receive it is definitely acts of service, words of affirmation, and quality time.
Okay. So does he? So we know he does acts of service. So that's out of the way. Okay. Quality time. Does he give you quality time?
100%,
Okay. Does he
200%,
give you words of encouragement or words of affirmation?
100%. He does.
What are we complaining about here?
So the issue is, I'm not willing to build. I've always been that person who would be performative, but invest more in somebody else than in myself. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'll see that, okay, he needs this more, then I'll give all of my time and I will do all of that. But at the same time, I'll be lacking in my own growth, in my own development. So I can't build the foundation for you. These are things that you as a person should know before you even start dating seriously or wanting to get married. Because he's talking about marriage. He's talking about wanting to get married before the end of this year. He's, learning about my culture. He's asking me how the process is. Do you get what I'm saying? Those are the conversations we're having.
Wait. Are you two different cultures?
Yeah, we're two different cultures. Yeah.
Okay. So wait, he asked about your culture.
He asked about my culture. He's researching about my culture. He's coming back to me with information about my culture. Some things I did not even know myself. But he's not.
There's something else going on. There's something else going on. The way you're describing him at first is exactly, he wasn't great, but now you're describing him. He's doing everything that you want him to do. So there's something else going on. There's something else within you that's going on. And let me say something, and without you telling me too much information, and you can tell me yes or no, and we have more of a discussion, right? The issue isn't him. The issue is you. You don't trust your own judgment, and you don't trust your own voice. So I think you're over analyzing every little piece of thing to try and make sure you got the right answer. So you're almost overthinking everything. I'm not saying he's the right person even. I'm just saying that it sounds like you're overthinking everything, right? Because as I'm asking more questions, there's nothing he isn't doing. You wanted him to do, it's just that he hasn't mentioned love language, but he's doing love language, right? He's asking you questions about your culture because he needs to know about your culture. In order for you guys to get married, he has to ask those questions. But when he first framed it, you framed it as if he's asking you too many things to know. But at the moment, I haven't really heard what would be him asking something that would be too much for you to answer. So I think the issue here, what I'm hearing is, you're concerned about whether you're able to actually have good boundaries that you won't overgive and that you won't lose yourself in a relationship, because it sounds like you've done that in the past. Tell me yes or no, and we'll go from there.
Yes.
Okay. Which is understandable. So I'm going to tell you something. Take the focus off him.
Okay.
It can be a problem. He's a man. He's a human being. You're a human being. Everyone can have problems. But I'm saying to you, take the focus off him and focus on yourself. Because the issue that we're having here is that you don't trust yourself. Therefore, when you're making decisions, you're scared. And instead of looking within, we start projecting outwardly. So what we need to focus on, in this particular part, right, is to say, okay, hold on a minute. Am I being true to me? about what I need. Because what it sounds like is you stop thinking about your needs and you start identifying with his needs. And the his needs become your needs, and that's how you get lost. You have a habit of doing that. And that is usually a childhood wound where your parents have minimalized you and forced you to think about their needs and stop thinking about your needs. That's a practice. That is a pattern. That is a behavior that you've learned. And then when you get into relationships with somebody you like, in order so that you don't get rejected, so that you don't get abandoned, so that you don't get betrayed, you contort yourself. Yeah? You contort yourself. Where something's a circle, you begin to become, where you are square, you become a circle to fit in so that you don't get rejected or left behind or the person to abandon you, right? Because that's what you have to do with your parents. You have to squash yourself into a particular image. You're doing the same thing here. And now what you're afraid of is when I do that, I've learned in a past relationship, I got burnt that way. But I want you to understand it's because you don't focus on you and how you feel. So whenever you're in that relationship, you have to slow it down within yourself and ask yourself a real question. Is this the truest thing that I want right now? So if we're having a conversation, and let's say, for instance, like you said, okay, let's say, for instance, love language situation, right? The key question is, first and foremost, have I been able to articulate what I actually want from him? Have I actually been able to sit with myself and go, this is what I need. I need this. Okay, now I need to request this of him. Because a lot of times we push outwardly and we put it on the other person because we're not really sure about how to even ask it ourselves. We expect them to mind read because we're mind reading, right? So no one can mind read. We do have to communicate. We do have to let them know, right? But go for it.
Yeah, I feel like I've definitely let him know, even from the beginning, even from our first date. I said to him, for me, I'm in a building place in my life where I'm investing in myself. I have so many things going on to do with my development. So my time, yes, my love language, one of them is quality time, but you have to also understand when I need time for myself, when I need to kind of shut off a little bit to reset or whatever the case. And that's another thing that is a struggle because his love language is quality time, but it's maybe times 10 what my level of need is. So there's a bit of a constant back and forth about, okay, I need the day today, I need to work on this, I need to do this, but he'll still be trying to speak to me. So it's like, that's where I'm kind of wondering to myself, will it work? Because I don't feel like my growth or the investment in myself is something that's temporary. I think it will obviously adjust as things happen, as we have kids, whatever, but it's going to be constant. So if I'm struggling with that now, how is it going to work as well? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because for me, it's not a minor, it's something that's major. Because
it's big.
This is something that if you need to spend 5 hours a day working on this project and going to the gigs and going to the studio and recording and do you get what I'm saying? I can't
you're in the creative field, right?
Yeah, I'm in the creative field and I also have a profession in mental health, and so it's a lot of things, do you get what I'm saying, that I'm building right now. So, and he told me that he's also in a stage of building, but it seems I don't know how real that one is because I'm not really seeing it. There's no time that I will call him that he will not be available. And when I'm not available, he will still want to be there. Do you get what I mean?
Okay. I mean, does he work?
I don't know. Yeah, he does work. But his job is super flexible where
So he has a lot more time.
Yeah.
And so I want you to watch what just happened, right? Because it could be the fact that, you know what, he's too clingy. But it also could be the fact that you like your space and you don't know how to take your space. Right? So in this scenario, this situation, it is fixable, what you're saying. The key thing, I'm going to ask 1 or 2 questions qualifying before I actually say how can we fix. Number 1, do you find this man attractive physically? I just want to be real with you. Like I'm saying, when you look at him, it's a bit of me. Be honest.
He wouldn't be my normal type. But he's not bad.
It's not about him being ugly or anything like that. But
he's not my normal type, no.
That first part is very important. Because you see, you have to understand yourself as a woman, right? In 2026, you're not in 1950s. Right? You're not surviving anymore. You've got goals, you've got ambitions, you can get money, right? All of these things mean that you're a different space. You're now able to thrive. So you don't need a man to survive anymore, right?
Not
So
at all.
I want you to come out of that survival mechanism. I want you, because when you see a man, okay, and I know the ladies will say, but we don't look at looks the same way. You do. You know how I know? Because the way that you react to that man changes. If you've dated somebody, and maybe you've dated somebody that you actually find physically attractive, my God, it's so easy to do things. You just be doing them. Why? Because you find a person attractive. It's not saying that the man is ugly. It's to say that when we are compromising on some of those things, our subconscious knows this. So our behaviors also align with the subconsciousness of the belief that this isn't my level, so I can't actually even give all of myself. Because part of you already knows that I don't know if I'm even going to stay. So how can I give full energy knowing that I'm not even going to stay? Do you get me? This is a survival mechanism. So that was why I had to ask that question, whether it was a physical attraction, and again, different types can still be attracted to you. So I understand that. But it's just like, is it a bit of you, like when you see him, that you're like, that's me?
He's not a bad looking man.
Yes.
He's okay looking.
Yes.
But he's not my type. I think that's the best way I can say that.
And
long term, I've dated somebody who is beyond my type, and they did not have no time for me. So that's where where I'm like, when I see the man, I'm like, amen. Yeah.
And listen, that's what we call there's undershooting and there's overshooting. Right? Whenever you undershoot, you're always gonna feel like you're not getting enough. And when you overshoot, you always feel like you're always doing too much, because it's like you haven't tried to match it. We don't want to do that. So the reality situation is, right, keeping it a buck and keeping it real, okay? Free yourself from the situation. Because the reality is money cannot buy what you actually need here. But said that. Get to the final point of what you said, okay? When you said about time and needing your space, okay? I think one of the key things for anybody in a relationship is learning how to be able to communicate what they want. We want to request, we don't want to complain. Let me give you an example of what I mean by this. You said that you need time and time to really be able to create and think about what you want to do. So a complaint is, you don't give me enough space and time to do what I need to do. That's a complaint, right? A request is, babe, I know you care about me. I know you love spending time with me. What I need in order to complete the work that I'm doing is I need a few hours in the evening. I need probably like 5 or 6 hours where I'm just focused and in the zone and just focusing on my craft. And then when I finish that, I can come back and we can do me time again. This is you requesting. This is what you need from that person versus complaining. A lot of us do it, not just you. A lot of us do it. We complain rather than actually request. What do you actually want? So requesting is always about, what do I actually want? Complaints are, I'm bemoaning the situation. It's like, in that space. And it's hard to hear what the person actually wants through that situation. So there's nothing wrong with you wanting time. You're absolutely allowed to. So we request, hey, babe, I see that you want to spend time with me. You know that he's not trying to do it on purpose. He's not trying to, sabotage you. But I know that you want to spend time with me, and I want to spend time with you too. But I also recognize that I need a time for myself just to be able to do this work. And when I can do that work, then I'm free. My mind is free and I can actually come back in and I'm going to be the best girlfriend, whatever, right? But I can't do that when I know I haven't done the work and I haven't finished my work. So I do need a few hours where there's no messaging, no calling, just like I'm in the zone, I'm in the studio and I'm just doing what I need to do. Okay? That's how we request that space and that time in that space. Yeah?
Yeah. I like that.
Okay, but if it's not your type, sis, I think you've got a serious thing to think about when you get home. That whether you actually
is a good man. This is. Do you know what? It's honestly so hard. I want to be honest with you. Okay. I have never met a man like this before in my life. I have never. I really have not. A guy who, when he says something, he really actually follows through, and when he can't follow through, he's honest with you. He's transparent. Everything is open. There's no secrecy. And he's all about you. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that means if you're ready to get into a relationship with that person, you know that you're both locked in. There's no games. It's serious, and you're genuinely there for each other.
I agree. Listen,
but I'm just struggling to get there.
And the reason why you're struggling to get there, because here's the thing: you're not finished yet. You have to understand this. Some of us in life, our dating is us getting better and better. We're not there yet. You're signing out a little bit too early. That's why it's not matching up at the moment. You're signing out a little bit too early. You're seeing somebody treat you differently to what you've ever been like, most times you've been treated like. So you're thinking that this is where I need to settle. No, you settle there, you're gonna be in trouble. Right? In 10 years' time, 15 years' time, when you have your kids and you're married and finally you got everything you ever wanted and dreamed of, you're gonna look at that man and be like, I don't even want you. So my reality of the situation is this, right? Some of the times, I have to be honest with you, some men are stepping stones, and it just has to be real like that. We've dated, we've enjoyed each other, but I recognize that you've shown me a new level of how I want to be treated. And if you can treat me this way, there are other people that can treat me this way, and I can feel mutually liking of that person. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to accept less. You're on a journey right now. Okay? So if you sign out too early, you're gonna regret it. So what I'm telling you is there's another step. Trust me, if you caught one, you can caught another. I'm not a person that does scarcity. If you caught one, you can catch another. Another one's going to come along who's going to actually treat you even as good as he's treating you, and then you're gonna like him. Do not settle. You see, call it God, call it universe. I'm gonna call it God, right? You said you want a type of man where you feel like this man, you can like him, you can appreciate him, and you can physically find him attractive, as well as all the other qualities, right? You're saying that out in your head, you're saying it in your heart. That's what you believe. And then the God that I serve, or let's call it the universe or life, right, will then start sending buses along the way. And the bus looks like the bus you should get on. It's got all the trimmings, but then something's missing. I'm not even talking about 20% versus 8%. This is what I'm talking about. There's deep compatibility issue that okay, this person isn't right for me. I got to move them on. The next bus comes on. Okay, this person has some of those great qualities. I'm getting treated correctly, but that isn't the right person for me. Bus comes up. And I'm not saying that you have to choose a perfect person, but the basis of any relationship, first and foremost, you should be attracted to that person, and it should be, I like you on sight. I don't know if anything else is going to cause you to have to kind of compromise. And a man that treats you right and spends money on you, there are plenty of those men. I'm telling you.
Yes.
If you quit early, you won't see that man.
Yeah, because what's above everything else, above money, above all these things, I need a man who can teach me something. The mind, the intellect, that emotional, like that is what I'm more attracted to than anything else, to be honest.
So again, I would say sit with yourself and really consider whether this is a relationship for you. You're not actually in the relationship, you're kind of seeing each other, and actually, if it needs to be cut it early. If it needs to be cut it early. You will save yourself a lot of time and heartache, because what's going to happen is this: he gonna grind you down because he's spending money. He's taking care of you. He's going to grind you down, and you're going to ask that question, can't be that bad. And then you're going to find yourself in 10, 15 years time coming on the internet telling us how, you don't love your husband, but it's because he did X, Y, and Z, and you're going to end up projecting. And it's really used because at the very beginning, your signals of your body was telling you this is not it. Yeah?
I don't think it's it, unfortunately.
Yeah?
Oh, so sad.
It's a blessing.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Love this. All right, guys, we're gonna have the conversation now. Okay, we're gonna have the conversation now. If you guys want to come up and have a conversation, we'd love for you to come up. Look, sometimes ladies be sabotaging themselves. Do not choose a man that you're not attracted to. I'm not here to promote that nonsense. It is nonsense. We're not in the 1950s. We're in 2026. Women do not need to survive. They don't need you to survive. Let them choose somebody they actually like. Reason being is because you don't want somebody just to settle for you. I am not in the business of, girl, stay with that man. He's treating you good. He's a good man. No, I don't care if he's a good man. You don't like him like that. Release him into the wild. Release him into the wild and move on. There's another man that you like and you'll give the world to. Right? We as men need to pay attention to when that person's not reciprocating and giving us the energy that we require and need. Let's also move on. I don't want to be in a situation with a woman that doesn't like me like that. It's a waste of my time and her time. Right? But a lot of us are in survival mode. We're trying to survive. I'll be okay. She got a bum, at least. Man, them, come on, let's not. You know what I mean? Ladies, oh, he makes money. No, you don't like him like that. You have to explain it. No. Don't do it. Surrender. Sometimes life